Good day everyone, I am 𝗔𝗴𝗿𝗿, a BSc Social Studies student, second year. Today, we are going to talk about the Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Law of 1988 under the Republic Act number 6657. The Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Law of 1988, this is an act instituting a comprehensive agrarian reform program to promote social justice and industrialization, providing the mechanism for its implementation and for other purposes. Or should I say, it is the stated policy of the state to see to the welfare of the landless, farmers, and farm workers, and to establish the cultivatorship of economic-sized farms as the basis of Philippine agriculture. To this end, an agrarian reform program which is based to the right of landless farmers and farm workers to own the land they till, or to receive a fair share of the fruits of their labor. The program seeks to achieve this essentially through the redistribution of agricultural lands subject to the payment of just compensation of disposed landowners. Agricultural land allocations shall be made for ideal family-sized farms and determined by the Presidential Agrarian Reform Council or the PARC. This act consists of 78 sections divided into 15 chapters. Republic Act number 6657, or also known as the Comprehensive Reform Law, Section 3 defines agricultural land as land devoted to agricultural activity and not classified as mineral, forest, residential, commercial, or industrial land. This means that this bill broadens the definition of agricultural land by including those lands which were previously devoted to agricultural activities, by which were left idle by their owners, and lands which are irrigated and potentially irrigable as defined by Administrative Order number 20 of the President Series of 1992. The Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Law of 1988 shall cover, regardless of tenurial arrangement and commodity produce, all public and private agricultural land as provided the Proclamation number 131 and Executive of number 229, including other lands of the public domain suitable for agriculture. The Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Program is easily circumvented due to the very narrow definition of agricultural land, which specifies that the land must be devoted to agricultural activity. So, it means that it sought to redistribute land not only to farmers and farm workers but also to the other landless poor. Guided by the principle of social justice, it recognized the right of landowners to just compensation and provided a retention limit of 5 hectares. It also recognized the rights of indigenous cultural communities to their ancestral land. The agrarian reform contributed to relieve the unemployment pressure and to increase agricultural production and productivity, although it could not prevent a massive exodus of rural population from the mountains and the most marginal areas. So this program of public works was in turn quite successful in sustaining both employment and income. It also achieved important multiplier effects as the increased local demands spurred a temporary growth in the local manufacturing of consumer goods, still sheltered from external competition. This administrative order, whereas the Department of Agrarian Reform, or the DAR, the agency tasked to implement the CARL, is authorized by law, Title 11, Book 4, number 292 series of 1987, to approve or disapprove conversion of agricultural lands to non-agricultural uses such as residential and industrial conversations in accordance with law. Whereas the Section 20, known as the Local Government Code of 1992, empowers local government unit to reclassify agricultural lands in cases where the land ceases to be economically feasible and sound for agricultural purposes as determined by the Department of Agriculture, and where the land shall have substantially greater economic value for residential, commercial, or industrial uses as determined by the sanggunian concerned. After the first decade of the 21st century, the persistence of large-scale rural poverty is one of the greatest challenges confronting humanity. Rural poverty is deep, widespread, and difficult to alleviate. The prevalence of systemic rural poverty not only imposes an enormous socioeconomic loss on all societies but also contributes to environmental degradation. Poverty and hunger induce the rural poor to deplete land and forest resources. If landlessness is not corrected, the rural poor are likely to remain poor for most of their lives.
Take me to the place I used to run. Remember the house where I was born. But baby, you don't know me